Welcome to the fourth step of the REST method, the step I, where we analyze the insights of our efforts. Here we're gonna come and analyze the performance of our campaigns, the performance of our effort. And this is very important because it will help us understand how we perform. It will help us better communicate with the rest of our team, the marketing manager, the business owner, and explain how the investment on social media went, in what stage we are in terms of achieving our goals, and if we can move from the awareness phase to the engagement phase and the traffic and leads and conversion phase. As you can see at the REST method checklist, we have selected a few key performance indicators that can easily be communicated with the rest of the team and can easily make sense for the performance. And the key performance indicators, as we already discussed, are: the first one is reach, where we can see how many people, unique people, we reach on social media. I notice as I create these lessons that on LinkedIn they start rolling out the reach and frequency metrics because of the importance. They realize the importance, I believe, and they start rolling out as well, because it's very important not just see that you have 10 million impressions, but you can see that you have reached 5 million people by 2 times. The next indicator is frequency, which it determines how many times each of those people saw our ad, and it's an average number. For example, 5 million people saw our ad for 2 times. The reason that this is important is because, as a rule of thumb, social media and specifically Facebook, when I had my last exam, it mentions that to be able to understand that someone show interest and actually saw your ad, he or she must see your ad at least 2 times per week. So knowing the frequency in a time period is very important to understand if you achieve the goal of awareness, if you achieve the goal of passing the message across and making the people know about your product and or services. The next indicator is impressions, where is the calculation basically of the reach and frequency, how many people see your ad by how many times, but it's also important to know how many impressions you have to be able to compare with previous campaigns. Let me just share the reports and show you exactly the indicators and an example of one of our customers, and see the results for specific budgets and specific periods. This is a report, a typical report that we give to our clients, and we choose this kind of report. I will show you another kind of report which is free. This one has a small cost and a small technical knowledge that you need to bridge your social media ads with Data Studio, which is this tool. It's a Google tool. And with this bridge, you can see that the data is coming directly from the Ads Manager, so there is full transparency of what you are showing to the customer. This is the first point. And the second point, you can change the dates and see exactly the dates that you want to see the performance. The other thing about this report is that it's very simple to present to the client, and it's very easy for the client and the business owner and the marketing manager to just have it in front of them and have a look of what we have done and our efforts on social media. Another good feature is that you can share, so you can even share it with specific emails, or you can share it with anyone with the link, and that means everyone in the team can have this link, open it on their even mobile devices, or better on their desktop, and view this report that we see here. The way we present it and the way we believe that is a good way to communicate the message and have the client just have a look and understand of what we have done, because as I already said before, customers do not pay attention to this data, and this is not a good sign. This is not something that we want. We want our customers to see the data, and we want our customers to understand what we are doing and to appreciate the power of this tool, and of course to evaluate together if a campaign performs better, we can work more on that campaign and add more budget. And if a campaign doesn't perform so well, we can see what we can change in terms of objective, target audience, and creative material to see how we can make it perform better. As you can see here, we have a campaign overview where we see that we reached 325,000 people by 12.7 times average. The frequency, as we already discussed, is how many times those people see. Another reason that is very important to know how many people we reach is what makes sense for our role or ROI method strategy. Because we already define our audience at the strategy session, and we define our custom audience, our saved audience, and our lookalike audience on the optimize and redesign session. For this example here, we know that our audience is 350,000 people. So for the period of January 1st to November 30th, 2022, we've reached 325,000 people by 12 times on average. So this is a sign saying that we already achieved our awareness goal, because we already know that our audience is 350,000. If we didn't know our audience and we just throw advertisement out there, we will not be able to evaluate with this report, and this report would not have made sense. And I believe now you really understand how the whole ROI method works and how it makes sense in each step, and how each step helps the next step and the next step, and each step is connected to each other. So we have a strategic methodology approach for any social media in any country, in any language, and in any budget. Moving forward, we see that the impression, which is the calculation between reach and frequency. How many clicks? Clicks are important because it gives us an indication of how many people got interested, how many times the people got interested in clicking our ads. And click-through rate is a very important indicator because it shows the percentage of the clicks for every 1,000 impressions. This CTR is a very powerful indicator for us as social media marketeers to understand if a campaign performs well, and if it doesn't, if this indicator is low, we need to check our objective, our audience, and our creative material. The reason we want to check those three sections is because, as we already discussed, the objective defines the result. So if sometimes the CTR is low, doesn't mean that we are not doing a good job, because there are objectives that do not bring you high CTR. For example, reach and brand awareness doesn't bring you high CTR because its objective is to show the ad to as many people as possible and not get engagement. Engagement objectives bring higher click-through rate. And last, we see how many euros we spent for these campaigns. So we spent 7,620 euros and we reach almost all of our audience. And we see below, and this is another table that we need to pay attention, especially for our monthly efforts, and I will change the dates now and you will see the monthly results, because you can see each of the campaigns and posts that we run through the month, through this period, and each campaign, the performance that we managed to achieve. For example, here, number 5, we see it's a lead generation campaign, and this is where I told you before on the targeted ads that we need to name our campaigns. We begin naming our campaigns with the objective. So when we present the report, we know that that was a lead generation campaign, and then there is the subject of what was the subject of the campaign. For this example, we also name the towns because we make very targeted campaigns around each store in each town and the date that the advertising was set, so we have a record of our work and what happened in that period. So we see each campaign, for example, number 5, lead generation campaign, we reach 18,000 people by 2.8 times, 51,000 impressions in total, 8 cents cost per click, 3.24 click-through rate. We spent 133 euros and we got 13 results. We got 13 leads with 130 euros. So we have an average of 10 euros per lead. Then we make the exercise with the client, because this is not an e-shop that we can easily have the lifetime value of the lead and the actual return on investment for each campaign. So we evaluate every 6 months and every 1 year with the customer of how many leads they get and what is the conversion from a lead to a customer, because with this lead the team is following up, the customers are visiting the store, and some of them are closing tickets from 200 to 400 euros each. So those 13 leads is probably 3 to 4 paid customers, which comes to around 1,000 euros. So at this example, we spend 133 euros and we got return on investment 1,000 euros in total. And on the right side, we see some breakdowns that can help us understand who is viewing our advertisement. For example, here it's a gender breakdown, and we see how many female and how many male they see our ad. Here is a town breakdown, because it's important for this customer to know if it's reaching each town equally based on the volume that he wants to present in each town. This should be a device breakdown, and we can see here that we can change this once it's set up. I can show you this on the advanced course, where we're gonna come and see in detail the technical parts and how you can set all this up. You can send me questions and ask me, but in terms of technical part, it's gonna be on the next course, where you will become advanced certified ORESTI professional. So we see here that we choose placement, and we can see here that we have a placement breakdown. You see that we have 62% on newsfeed, 13% on Facebook, stories, Instagram stories, Messenger, video feeds. So we know where the ad was appeared. We can make changes on how to show our ads on newsfeed, on stories, etc. So this is one way of presenting it, and there is an easier way, basically free way, which is through the tool of Business Manager. And we're here on Business Manager, and we go all tools, and we move down to Analyze and Report, and we go to Ads Reporting, and then we choose our campaigns, and we see here a report that is being presented, and we can choose from here the period. So we can do this month and see again what are the results, and we can go here on the right side and choose the metrics that we want to show. It's divided in two sections, is breakdowns and metrics. Breakdowns are very important to go deep in the later stage and see the age of the people that are watching. We can see the breakdown of how many people see 35 to 44, how many people see 25 to 34, etc. So we will go to metrics on the right side and click the metrics that matter to us, which is reach, frequency, impressions, cost per click, etc. And then the good thing about this is that you can save a copy, you can name it ORESTI method test. You can share the link with the rest of the people that have access, and you can export it if you would like as an Excel or CSV and send it via email or add it on a presentation or whatever you want. One thing that I didn't show you before, that I said I will show you and didn't show you, is when we change here at Data Studio the period, and let's say we do last 30 days, and we can see here that now it's bringing data from the system, and you can see that for the last 30 days, May 22 to June 20th, we spent 978 euros. We reached 71,000 people by 3.9 times, a total of 277,000 impressions, 7,000 clicks, and 2.6 click-through rate. And we can see each campaign, how it's performing, lead generation, and we basically now, because we're in the position that we already built awareness, now we're creating basically lead generation campaigns. We do 1 to 2 brand awareness and engagement campaigns per month, but we go all in with lead generation, and we can see here that we spent more or less 1,000 euros and we got 11, 17, 22, 12, 7, 18. So 25, 50, 50, 60, 70, around 100 leads, which can be potentially 20 to 30 paid customers of 400 euros each. So this is what we mean about strategic approach of social media marketing. Is about knowing your assets, knowing your strategy, knowing who are you targeting, and knowing how to evaluate your business results. And with this, we finish with the insight analysis. I believe I gave you enough information to understand and start with a basic report. Basic is important also for you to be able to understand and evaluate your campaigns and your efforts, also for your team, the marketing manager and the business owner, to understand what you are doing and how your campaigns are performing and how you are achieving the goals and the business goals and the marketing strategy goals. And then, as you could see here, there are tools that you can go and break down and see ages and see more details, which is something that we do on the background to evaluate our campaigns and make the small edits that make sense for better performance for our customers. And that's where you will win as a performance marketeer, because you will know how to approach social media marketing, you will know how to strategically approach your customer content and have a strategic content plan. You will know how to reach the specific people and the specific audience that the customer wants to reach, and you will know how to evaluate the results and communicate this with the rest of the team. Thank you very much for making it to the last part of our SD method. Thank you for taking the time and going through all the courses and all the lessons and all the notes that I gave you. I believe that at this stage you have a lot of knowledge to strategically approach any social media. Any social media has the tools for marketeers, for social media marketeers, and you should go and find them. The idea, as I already said for many times at these lessons, is the same for all social media. They are all trying to get us the tools to optimize and redesign our social media, having a proper presence for our customers as a business, so we can protect our brand from bullies or from negative comments. And we need to set up our social media, so if in the future there is another social media that will come up, make sure you go through the settings first, make sure you go through the redesign, make sure you have a strategic content plan that will be adapted to the specific social medium, because it's a different presentation that you will do on TikTok, it's a different presentation that you will do on LinkedIn, and it's a different presentation that you will do on Instagram and on Facebook. Similar, yes, but some tweaks on the caption, on the sizes of the creative materials, and of course on the way you will present yourself there and the way you will communicate with that audience. Then targeted ads are very, very important. Social media are based and the revenue is on ads, so they are placing a lot of attention on having an ad platform that help us achieving our business goals. And that is why the big companies, the big corporations are taking advantage of this, and they are leveraging these advertising platforms. Since this course is for business owners and social media marketeers with limited resources, now you have a way of breaking through the crowd and a way of achieving your goals even with smaller budgets, because you can define smaller audiences, you can bring you in, and you can grow your business slowly, and you can expand with custom audience, lookalike audience, and expand to other countries as well. Insight analysis is very important. It's very important to keep it simple so your customers understand it. Keep it simple so your whole team understand it. Keep it simple so you are able to evaluate easily and understand if a campaign is performing well or not. And make sure you practice a lot. Make sure you go through and create a lot of campaigns, go through and evaluate a lot of results. I remember back in the days, I used to sit and evaluate the campaigns for hours and hours and hours to understand how they perform and to understand why they are not performing well. And this knowledge is all in your plate now. I can give it to you. You are in this stage that you have to decide that this knowledge is already okay with you and you will be able to continue with this knowledge, or you should be coming to the next course where we will go deeper and analyze each of these tools and show you exactly with examples how we will do it, how we will set it up, and how we'll evaluate brand awareness campaign, how we'll evaluate the lead generation campaign, why is not performing well, why is performing better, how we'll set up a report, how we'll do a strategic content plan for, let's say, a business in Brazil or a hair salon in Greece or a big corporation in Sweden. Thank you very much again and see you at the next course.